There are a few game genres named after their Genesis title. Metroidvanias, roguelikes, soccer. But platform fighters are weird. Avid fans of the genre actively resist their genre's given name, Smash clones. Smash has been so dominant for so long that people don't know what else to call a 2D fighting game with blast zones. And I don't blame them. Smash is king. I'm an active and long-time fan of platform fighters, both casually and competitively. Here's a timeless clip of my brother at our first tournament getting absolutely minced.
My guy, no! He may have just died there.
Ooh.
Do it again. Ooh! One more time. For the fans. Oh, he's feeling himself. Do it again. That's just no fun.
I thought it was just
So we've been around the block. I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of content for Rivals 2 right now being put out by people who don't have a lot of experience with the genre. That's great, but I've seen videos of people who say this game's too similar to Melee, but have never played Melee in the first place. I have a deep understanding of the mechanics and fun of platform fighters, and some of what makes Rivals 2 so special is hard to articulate without knowing a bit more on the higher level of these games and their design. With that said, I want this video to be approachable to anyone regardless of how much you've played, and I want to talk about this game outside of the context of Smash. It's not a Smash clone or a Smash-like, it's a platform fighter. In order for Smash to have a referential but not defining relationship with this game, I want to make two things clear. First, no game will ever kill Smash, nor should it. That would be like saying Tekken will kill Street Fighter or God of War will kill Red Dead. Even other Smash games don't kill the previous ones. Every game has some value and replayability to this day. More good platform fighter games bring more players to every scene for every game. Secondly, YouTuber Real_Joy makes a great point in his video about the prediction of Rivals 2, which is, to paraphrase, that you either find your niche or you die. You can't just replicate Smash, but you need to have your own draw and appeal as a unique title. Now, to actually talk about the game. Do I like this game? Is it fun? My answer is absolutely. This game is ridiculously fun. To quote 538's Nate Silver, this is the kind of game that other game companies look at and say, what are we even doing over here? I've played almost every beta. It's one of the few video games that I'll actually play on a weekend where I could be drinking and doing drugs. And I have maybe even left my computer on airplane mode for 4 months so I could play it locally. Sorry, Dan. Rivals of Aether 2 has a lot of selling points. Here they are. The mechanics and overall design, the character design and clips, and the developers and the community of the game. When people talk about platform fighters, I often hear wave dashing thrown around as a placeholder for any sort of complicated competitive tech that people want to skip over. But to understand why Rivals 2 is so great, wave dashing is worth understanding. In every platform fighter since Smash 64, every character has had an air dodge. By pressing shield in the air, you get a brief window of intangibility, while also in some cases moving in the direction that you point the analog stick. Although the term wave dashing comes from older fighting games, the original wave dash in Melee was an unintended mechanic, but not a bug, where you jump off the ground and then air dodge back into the ground at an angle, so you slide when you land. In that slide, you're actionable for a certain amount of time. This lets characters use moves while sliding, move out of a dash, move out of shield, do stuff like this, whatever this is. But in Melee, there's no buffer, so you have to time your wave dashes very carefully, and you have to hit a very precise angle on the analog stick. It makes sense why Nintendo's removed air dashing formally from every Smash game since then. It's too damn hard for something seen as so fundamental to your play in games like Melee and Project M. Rivals 2 takes a different approach. They say wave dash? Sure, here you go. Press the direction, press jump and dash. You press it too early, whatever. You press it too late, you're fine. Press it at the same time, yeah, wave dash. So many platform fighter fans mistake technical ease for mechanical simplicity and a low skill ceiling. It's easy to see why this is a bad take. With a notoriously difficult and complex game like Celeste, Maddie Thorson, the lead developer, wrote an article called Celeste and Forgiveness, where she says, quote, All these mechanics center around widening timing or positioning windows, so that everything is fudged a tiny bit in the player's favor. I think this is a big reason why Celeste can feel kind, even though it's very difficult. It wants you to succeed. Maddie is a genius developer, and Celeste is a crazy game. Look at this. No one can claim this game is too easy. Aether Studios takes a similar approach, but if Celeste wants you to succeed, Rivals wants you to feel like Mango. By lowering the bar for mechanics like wave dashing, you allow the beginners to feel like pros, and the pros to feel like they're playing turbo mode. That's a win-win. Fighting games have a unique issue amongst other games, where they cannot really control the difficulty of their matches. The game is as difficult as the people you play against. Having your gameplay feel cool, and having learning come quick and feel rewarding, is a good way to make the player have fun even when all they can do is get their ass kicked by me until 3 a.m. in the Loxodon Ditto. Wave dashing is the platform fighter mechanic. Sorry, wave dashing is the platform fighter mechanic. Wait, wave dashing is the platform fighter mechanic. Wait, wave dashing is the platform fighter mechanic. All of these emphases are valid. Wave dashing is a great microcosm of what makes platform fighters so unique and beautiful. It's highly creative, it allows freedom of movement, it looks slick as hell, and it's so quick that it combines exponentially with everything else in the game to produce what feels like an unlimited suite of options. But the Aether team did not stop at wave dashing. They did this aetherifying process for so many mechanics from every platform fighter. And in this way, they reward so many different play styles. Enough that realistically, players can and will pick their favorite tools and options and rely largely on those. While the number of tools at your disposal in this game can feel overwhelming, because so many of these techs are small and accessible, it's more freeing than daunting once you get your feet wet. Distinctiveness in play is so special, and Rivals 2 provides so much. Rivals 2 simplifies ledge dashing and wave landing from Melee, simplifies and refines Dacus and the friction techs from Brawl, reverse aerial rush and tilt boosting from 4, and wave bouncing from Ultimate. Plus, I think some of the Obsa reverse double jump tech comes from Brawlhalla. This game is not a Melee clone any more than it's a Smash 64 clone, and that is what's so special about Rivals 2. Whereas Smash, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and Multiverses are beautiful because they're a collage of characters from all sorts of different worlds. Rivals 2 is beautiful because it's a collage of mechanics from all sorts of different games. It's unafraid to take things from anywhere. If it's fun, it goes in. I like to imagine Dan Fornace went through every platform fighter in the gauntlet, and every time he did something cool, he sent it right to the Slack. Plus, the series has always been unafraid to invent new stuff. Hitfalling is a great example. Like wave dashing, hitfalling is a stroke of luck that provided a mechanic that adds so much creativity and character to the game. And once again, the Rivals team knows when they found something good and they expand on it. The game is now actively balanced around hitfalling, and it's a huge point of pride for the developers. Another example would be baby dashing, a mechanic that serves as a mini wave dash. I knew about this mechanic from Rivals 1, but I heard it was one frame input and I'd never tried it, which is, I'm sure, very similar to how people feel about wave dashing. But when I read a patch note mentioning about how baby dashing was added to Rivals 2, I decided to just try it once to see if I could do the input, and I could easily. Even the most intimidating techniques are accessible on some level. And now look at me, I'm baby dashing around like it's nobody's business. Look at me, I'm king baby, I'm babying around. I could talk about these mechanics forever. This philosophy is how all games should be made. When the game comes out and someone releases a good comprehensive guide to all the tech in Rivals 2, I'll link it here. There's a feeling I get from Smash sometimes, where I'm really feeling myself and I get real excited and I do some crazy nonsense and I get out of my seat and I get so hype. It is such a unique thing to have in a game. All of Rivals 2's characters feel a little bit like this. There are no duds. I've tried to hate characters because I hate heavies. And is it really a fighting game if you don't have a least favorite character? I know that if Loxodon were a Smash character, I would hate the guy. Enough so that I didn't even try playing him for the first beta or two when he came out. But late night, when I was challenged in the Ditto, I played the character for the first time, and oh my god, the character is fun. It's the closest I've found to getting a spiritual successor to Broccoli Kong. Every character has an element and sub-element that defines their play. Some characters fill an archetype with one clever new dynamic. Some characters seem like a few of the best parts of a character smashed together, and sometimes a character feels like something really new that I've never seen before. Every time they release a new Rivals character, I think there can't be a new, interesting movement option that I haven't seen before. There are only so many ways to move around in 2D, and every time I turn out to be wrong. I'm always excited to see what the special pummel, special getup, and grab for a character will be, because they always make perfect sense with the kits while adding a new level of depth. And despite how weird some of these characters are, ultimately they're all pretty well-rounded. No one has such a distinct weakness that they're not really a viable character on some level. Every character has a reflect, every character has a projectile, every character has some unique stuff, and most interestingly, every character has a stage control gimmick. I've always liked the idea of assists in a platform fighter, and I'm excited to see if someone can roll them out properly one day, but there's something different about how many options you already have in these games that makes it feel difficult. I think that the stage control mechanics are a great way to implement something similar, but more suited to the genre, as they change the game in a subtle and interesting type of way. And when I'm playing with these, oh boy do I feel smart. I'm a smart type of guy. Just look at this. But really, the point of having all these special characters is to say that they can all hit some great clips. And isn't that what it's really all about? For you real gamers out there, this part is for you. I really love these devs, and I have a lot of trust in this team. They're so committed to this game, they spent almost 2 years adding a better online to the first game when they're already working on the second, just because they said they would, and they're keeping their word. The online is already great in this game, the devs are ahead of schedule, and most of the feedback coming from the community now is that people are worried that they're not taking enough money from the players. On top of that, all the characters will be free and all the game modes will be free for the whole game's lifespan. And there's no one I trust more than Ludwig because I think he's funny. I also just watched the developer live stream, and they said that bringing the game on console and adding a single-player mode is a priority tied with bringing the Steam Workshop back to the game from Rivals 1. And if you're not familiar with Steam Workshops, they're a really special thing to get the community involved and invite the players into the game-making process. This game has been in the works for a long time, and they have taken their time with it, but the time is finally now. This game is finally coming out, and really, it looks amazing. I've never followed the full development of a game like this before in my life, but it's really special to see this game go from tweets that the developer would make after finishing this first pixel art indie game to this really beautiful, very polished, amazing-looking game. They've listened to so much feedback from casuals and pros. They've changed so much. It's really special to find a developer team without a big ego, but who are still so persistent and so dedicated. So, it's great to have trust in the people making this game. Earlier in this script, I wrote that the question for Rivals 2 is not whether it will kill Smash. The question is whether it will find its niche. I don't know. Despite listening to Mitch Lasky's podcast, I'm no expert on video game economics. But I do think at least part of its niche is what YouTuber Stoney describes in his video about Melee. He calls it skateboard creativity. Skateboard creativity is where you're given something that is most of the time inherently very hard to do, but with almost endless options in the way that you can approach whatever it is you are doing. You should watch this video. It does a great job of explaining what is so fun and beautiful about games like this, between combo videos and forms of design that create memorable moments. He has a line that I love where he says that this is the kind of game he'd tell his kids about, and frankly, it's true. It is so special and so defining to my life playing games to have a game where there's no one way to be optimal and a million more ways to style and do your own cool shit that no one else does quite like you. So don't play Rivals 2 if you're looking for a new game. Play it if you're looking to express yourself. Thanks for watching.